Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all that is with us. And thank you so very much for attending the fifth annual Lena Baker Domestic Violence and Women's Health Summit. I'm Loretta Green Williams, founder and Chief Executive Director for Women of Concerned Professionals and Strategic Conscious Networking. And we are honored to be in this presence of conversation that definitely needs to take place. Now, our Lena Baker Domestic Violence and Women's Health Summit evolved from our Walking in Silence for the Silence Domestic Violence Solidarity Walk. Now, that takes place the first Saturday in November. And as you know, that'll be next Saturday, November 1st, 2025. We're excited and honored for all of you that will be attending. We'll be walking in honor of someone, for someone, in solidarity of communities. However you want to theme your walk, please feel free to theme your walk. After the walk, we encourage communities to come together and have a discussion around whatever discourse they would like to consider in regards to domestic violence. Thus, the evolution of the Lena Baker Domestic Violence and Women's Health Summit. We realize that there's intersectionalities that had to be discoursed within this construct. And so here we are today, our fifth year, talking some heavy duty stuff. And we go heavy in these. Please feel free to go to our YouTube page, WOCPSEN, and see some of the conversations we've had. And so one of our guest speakers today that we're really excited about is a dedicated sister of ours who has been with us on numerous occasions, Dr. Camelia, and she is a survivor of sexual assault and domestic abuse. Now she's working as a motivational speaker, coach, mentor, and author. She holds a doctorate in organizational leadership and behavior, an MBA, and a bachelor's in business. She is a retired Army veteran with 23 years of service. She also has a bachelor's degree in business, and she is certified as a sexual assault advocate, suicide prevention specialist, and master resiliatory instructor. Now, Dr. Charlstrong is a writer of 5 different books. We'll let her talk to you about her books, and her mission is to help others realize their self-worth just as she has done for herself. So this discussion is ain't no waste time. And I was very clear that if you don't understand that saying, maybe this ain't your location. But we who are here, we know what that means. And last year, there was a National Day of Black Women's Day of Rest. Why do we need a day of rest? What is so different and special about us that we need to take a step back? We're going to talk about those step backs, but we're also going to talk about the importance and the impact of what needs to be done to ensure our emotional, personal, psychological, and physical safety. Dr. Camelia, the floor is yours, and thank you for being with us.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much. First of all, greetings, everyone. I am so excited and humbled and honored to be here. And it is so apropos that this is the conversation that we are having, because before I get into, all my little pieces, I'll give you the importance of this thing called rest. Because last week I did a workshop on trauma love after trauma, excuse me, right? And so with the workshop comes a replay, right? And so earlier that day, I had the onset symptoms of the migraine. So I took the medications that I needed to take in order to kind of, keep it in a little box so I can get through the workshop. Well, of course, I did what most of us do. I went ahead, full blown migraine at this time, because once my brain and body knew that the workshop was over, I took a deep breath and it says, bing, here I am. But instead of listening to my own teachings and my body. I said, okay, you know what? I know this is probably going to go 3, 4 days. I'm going to get this video out so that everybody can have the replay and I'm good. Well, it did not happen like that because my migraines get super intense to almost like blacking out. So somewhere in there, I was still trying to do. And so now the original video for that workshop is gone. I have no idea where it is. Can't even remember the steps that I took in order to try to get it to everyone. And so with that, not listening to my body and recognizing that I needed to rest because I've been pushing for a while to get everything situated because I'm also writing a new book, right? And now my own decisions, right? I can't blame anyone else but me because I could have just sent out a message, an email, and say, hey, this is what's happening. Give me a week and I'll get the replay to you all. So now I have to go back and re-record a 90-minute workshop so that I can get it back out to my clients and participants because I didn't listen to my body. And I probably could stop right there with the conversation as far as my part goes when it comes to rest. It is so ingrained in us as Black women, women of color, that if you rest, if you stop, you're lazy. But here's the thing, one thing that I've learned is that our body has certain rights over us. And if we don't take care of it, then we can't do the things that we've been commissioned to do. We know what our mission is, we know what our purpose is. And if we're just going, what happens? You lose the product, you send out product that's not even worth looking at, or you end up putting yourself in a position to where you can't even function. I.e., within the span of that workshop, as great as the workshop itself was, I put myself in each one of those positions because I didn't listen. And I know better. Like we know better. Intellectually, we know better. But it's so ingrained. It's so packed in there. I have to be strong. I have to show up for everybody and not questioning once who's showing up for me. And no one is going to show up for us because we're not even showing up for ourselves. And I think that is another piece that we miss. We get upset with our family and our friends and all the people around us, like no one's showing up for me. Well, I mean, we kind of set that precedence. So it's important that we take responsibility for that. Um, and I know it's hard because it's so much packed in there. And so through my work of being a personal development coach, being one who uh, works with women mainly. I do work with some men, but mainly women. And when I say that, people look at me kind of funny. I say, well, I'm a woman. So, I mean, I can give the men ideas, I can listen to them, and different things like that. But that's about as far as they can go because I'm not a man. Right. So I believe in staying as close to my lane as possible and making sure that I am doing this work in the most authentic way. And so I created this system called the Bliss Life System. And now with the Bliss Life Systems, we look at your beliefs, we look at love, we look at intimacy, we look at self, and we look at success. But today in this conversation, I want us to kind of mix it up a little bit and show when we see the B with our beliefs, but we want to look at how it looks us allowing ourselves just to be, because we're always doing, right? We're doing, and we hear about us being in our masculine energy, and there's nothing wrong with that, because be clear, every human being that walks this earth has both energies, from my understanding. Now, all of this is coming from my perspective. So you take what works, and the rest of it you can just put it in a box somewhere and store it, whatever you need to do with it. But we all walk with that, with both of those energies, feminine and masculine energies. But that masculine energy is about doing. And as Black women and women of color, we are always expected to do, to do, to perform, to make things happen, to make $1 out of 15 cents, you know, to make a pot of beans feed 20 people, and all of those things. And all of that takes a toll on our body. And we've been conditioned, if you will, and almost emboldened to think that that is a badge of honor, not recognizing what really happens when you are stretching not just the resources, but your brain and your body, to make sure that those resources are doing what they really can't do. Like, it's really not enough. You got one that's no, but somehow we made it happen. So learning how to be, just to sit. I remember, watching my grandmother, and she would sit in her chair, and maybe a lot of you will be able to recognize this, their way of rest, right? And she would sit in this chair, sit in the chair, and she would just close her eyes, just sit and just close her eyes. 2 or 3 minutes is probably all she got before somebody was asking for something. And then as we got older, I noticed that it was about, okay, come Friday after lunch, it was like shut down. Like, she nothing. Y'all figured out you gotta get it on your own. But the unfortunate part during those times, and that most of us did not pay attention to, is that she did a lot of drinking during that time. A lot of drinking. And so it was almost as if she was putting her body in a state that where she could like tune out, because she couldn't do it herself. So she drank the alcohol to assist her with that.
Yeah.
Now, as we move along in these processes and us learning, I'm like, oh my God, my grandmother was a functioning alcoholic.
Mm.
Would have never known it. Would have never guessed it. Just thought, you know what? She's just putting off some steam. We thinking we having us a good old time because we can eat what we want, do what we want. Da, 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 da. But that's a slow kill. That's a slow kill, right? So be allowing us to be in our body, belong, that be body and belong, knowing that this is our temple and how we take care of it, that resting, assist us with that, right? In the L, in the original form, it's love, right? And we all say, I love myself. I love myself. I know that I'm beautiful, and all the things. I'm smart, all the great things. I love myself. But do I really? Sometimes it's questionable because based on my behavior last week, I might need to check in on something, right? I need to check in because sometimes we kind of just put it to the side, and uh, I'm on the list. I'm happy. I'm excited now. I'm on the list because for a minute there I wasn't even on the list. But at what point do we allow ourselves to actually be at the top of the list so that we can be more productive, so that we can live a life of love, of sensuality, of sexiness, of fulfillment, because we're putting ourselves first on the list. And that's a part of what rest will do, right? Because you'll get to see, oh, hmm, this actually feels good. I was able to get some things done, right? And in that rest, we can move into the I, which is we're using it as imagine, inspire, influence. So now I get to inspire and influence people based upon this debacle of a mess that I created for myself because I didn't listen to my body or listen to what I already knew in my brain. So checking in with where our mindset really is, right? And asking ourselves, okay, how is it that I want my life? And it always goes back to this. Always go, how do I want my life to be? How do I want it to look? What legacy I want to leave? You know, what do I want my daughters to see? My granddaughters, the women who come into my circles. Do I want them to see me dragging in front of, when I'm getting ready to speak? It's like, oh my goodness, what's wrong with Dr. Strong? She look hot. She cute, but if you look closer, she look a mess. Because we can see it. Because we've done it to ourselves, so we can like, ooh, we can recognize it. Like, oh, right. And in this rest, I believe it will allow us to do better. And I use better loosely because I don't want it to imply that we're not doing good, because we're doing amazing, right? But to serve and to sustain and to create this strength. And the thing about it is that if we're putting ourselves at the top of the list, all of these things apply to ourselves first, right? So even though I may be talking in a way that, oh, as I rest, I can serve my community, I can help sustain in all of these things. The reality is this bliss is about me first. It's about you first. You making sure that you serve you first. Because when we do that, we teach others how they're supposed to come into our space and treat us. A lot of times we don't get the things that we need or we want, or the support that we want and need from those who are closest to us, is because they see us as the backbone all the time. They see us as the one who has all the answers, who doesn't ask for anything, who doesn't complain. And the list goes on and on and on. And then when we finally get to that point to where, you know what, I just can't do this anymore. This is just too much. And we're wondering why the phone doesn't ring. Well, the phone doesn't ring is because nothing is going on that side, and they don't need nothing. And a lot of them honestly don't think or believe that we need the help.
Mm.
Now, granted, there's some of them out there that are kind of selfish and all the things, right? But a lot of times, you just don't know. They can't even phantom that you might be tired because you're running so much. You got this and you got that, and it all looks good. And if it's nothing that a black woman don't know how to do when she got somewhere to be or to go, it's to slack. We can, I mean, like seconds, boom, like fairy dust. And people will automatically listen, oh, okay, Camille's, she good. You know, I hadn't seen her in a while, but she okay. Never thought to say, did I call her during that time I didn't see her? Was she okay doing it? Never crosses their mind. Because when they see us, because even when we're in pain, we show up, right? And so that final S is the spirit, that solidarity, that surrender. Now that surrender is what gets us. Because it's like, wait a minute, what do you mean? I ain't surrendering to nothing. Come on, bring it down a notch now. You surrendering to yourself, to allow yourself to rest, to allow yourself to restore, to rejuvenate, so that you can better show up for you. And that's my work. I spend very little time with my clients talking about what the husband didn't do, what the children didn't do or are doing. Now, it doesn't negate that I don't give them the opportunity to flush out all of those things because we got to let you get all that out. Now, my question is, what are you doing?
Mm.
What are you doing? Why won't you delegate? Hmm? Why won't you let your 15-year-old wash their own clothes?
Mm.
Hmm? Why? Is it going to fall apart? Really? Probably not. And it's okay for us to rest. It's okay for us to not just look pretty, beautiful, put together, but to actually feel it deep in our bones, right? Deep in our bone, because the body keeps the score. The body keeps the score. I told a friend of mine, I say, it does no good to look 30, 40 years old at 60
Mm-mm.
and you walking with a cane,
Mm-mm.
or you pushing. And I get it. Some people have had accidents and all of those things, but when we really check it, a lot of it is due to us abusing our own bodies, or based upon why we're here, the abuse that we endured from others. And so I challenge you to rest. When I say rest, I mean really rest. That means put the phone on do not disturb. That means put the children and the husband, the mate, the partner, whatever adjective you have for the people that are taking up space in your home, right? Put them on notice. And you can start out small. If it's 5 minutes, then move up to 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You can even put this into practice when you're at work. Stop taking your lunch at your desk. Stop it. Just stop it. Even if you have to go pull a chair out and go sit in the corner in the hallway somewhere, stop taking your lunch at your desk. Because the reality is, and I know some of us, because I mean, I still say it sometimes, when I want to be a smart egg. But multitasking is not real. It's not real. You just stopping one thing to start something else, and then you stop that to go back to the next thing. You're not doing anything simultaneously other than confusing yourself in your brain because you're trying to figure out which one did I finish, which one did I. Okay. Right. So allow yourself to rest. That's your resistance. That's your claiming back your power. That's you saying no more without having to scream, without having to walk outside with your machete, with your baseball bat, or any of that. It is the rest. When we rest and we restore, then we're able to think clearly. We're able to get things done quicker. We're able to have those conversations that need to be had without being overly, emotional or in the thick of it because we got so many things going on in the head. Not necessarily because we can't manage our emotions, but because we have so much going on. And that's another part that I want is not allow yourself to surrender to that need, that requirement to rest, and allow your body, allow your mind to connect with your higher self, with the God within, so that when you rise, you're like, okay, I'm ready, let's do this. As they say in the game, fight, right? So, as Miss Loretta had mentioned, I am, I, this is going to sound bad, but I kind of done lost count. I think 6 or 7 books that I've written because I'm not very good at, as they say, talking about my own stuff. And, um, the latest book that I'm working on is actually a poetry book of sorts, but it also has different steps that one can do based upon whether it's grief, pain, loneliness, all of those things. So it's different segments. And so I wrote a poem to match each one of those emotions, if you will. And then I give you a tip that you can use. It's also going to come with pages, journal, and everything in there so that the person who purchases the book will be able to actually work through all those different things. My previous book, one of my previous books is The Bliss Life System. Oh, see, I halfway got myself together today, y'all. I don't know if you can see it. Finding Your Bliss in the Midst of Pain. Um, And this is 9 keys to trusting yourself and living an extraordinary life. And so you can find that on lulu.com or Amazon. Um, and it takes you through the 9 things that you can look at in order to create that extraordinary life, right? If you would like to have a conversation with me about going deeper, right, or getting support with the book, you can go to Dr. Camelia Straughan, STRAUGHN.com, and get on my calendar or send me a DM. I'm on all of the social medias pretty much, I think. All the ones that the as my children with the big people, the old people, we kind of, however they explain it. And it's all under my name. So I'm nothing fancy. It all says Dr. Camelia Strong, so it'll be easy to find. Look for the lady with the dark skin and the big hair. She'll just pop right out at you. Um, and so then we can have a conversation around what is it when we say creating a life of bliss, right? Looking at your beliefs, loving yourself, understanding intimacy, um, checking in with the self, and defining success for yourself. And today, with all of that, is coming back to the rest. Will you allow yourself to surrender to what your body needs, to what your heart needs, to what your mind and your soul needs? That rest, that restoration, so that you can be the greatest of your greatest self. So, with that, I am complete. Miss Loretta, thank you so, 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 so very much.
No, no, thank
Love
you,
you. I
Dr.
love
C.
you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you more.
Hey!
But also, the year before last, our Lena Baker Domestic Violence and Women's Health Summit was We the People That Are Darker Than Blue. And you presented then. So please go to our YouTube page, WOCPSCN, and listen to what Dr. C talked about that. Child, we went deep. That was a deep weekend. That was a weekend. That was so deep. We had 3 days. We Woo, that was a deep weekend. But thank you so much because we hear you. Check in, listen to that body. Rest is better than anything. Serve to sustain. Solidify. There's solidarity in that surrender. The body keeps it sacred. Challenge yourself to rest. And multitasking ain't always real. I like that one. I got to think about that myself. Wait a minute. You mean I'm multitasking up? And you're right. You are stopping and starting. You're not completing anything. Child, check me. Check, check.
Oh my goodness.
Love it, love it, love it. Dr. C, we hope you see you in November 2026 at the Professional Women's International in Barbados. We will talk about making sure you get there so you can have your own session. We can talk about this rest thing because we need to understand it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Be
Absolutely.
blessed there.
Thank you. You
All
all have an
right.
amazing day.
All right. Be blessed. Thank you, Dr. C.
Thank you.
Our next guest, Dana Verde, began her career as a co-host on MTV's Your Movie Show, where she worked as a film viewer. Then this experience inspired her to pursue a Bachelor's of Science degree in Media Studies and Screenwriting from the New School University. She further advanced her expertise by earning a master's in filmmaking from the London Film School in London, UK. Now, following graduation, Dana sold her first script, The Perfect Match, which was produced by Queen Latifah's Flavor Unit and distributed by Lionsgate. The film debuted at number 6 in the US box office, opening in 925 theaters. Now, her independently filmed feature, Grand Gesture, received recognition from HBO with a nomination for Best Feature Film at the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival and was showcased in the Best of Series at the Black Harvest Film Festival in Chicago. Now, driven by her passion for filmmaking, Dana founded 3CK Media, which means Third Culture Kid Media, a production company dedicated to digital content. She has expanded her portfolio into television commercial direction, and now she is even a professor at multiple universities here in the United States. Dana has just is writing a book on how you can recover your stories for rest. Dana, thank you for being with us, and the floor is yours.
Hi, and thank you for having me. So, what it is more or less a wellness guide more than a book, because I find that when you are in the arts and you are a creative person, you can burn out pretty quickly. You end up working. You kind of got this hamster wheel thing going on. And I find that you need wellness practices or self care practices to help you stay not only sane, but also to inspire your creativity. So the book that I've been working, well, I can't say book, guide, has 12 chapters. And I'm going to read just two paragraphs from the first chapter, which is about reclaiming rest in a hustle culture. Because I feel that not only here in the US, but globally, we kind of have this hustle thing where everybody's on and everybody's working. And because of social media and streaming, we're just constantly being inundated with information. So it's harder and harder for us to find spaces of rest and reflection. So in chapter one, and this is written specifically for Black women who are writers, creative writers, but I think it can apply to anybody in any profession. I start off saying, for generations, Black women have been praised for their strength, their endurance, and their ability to do it all. We carry our families, our communities, and our dreams while navigating systems that were never designed for us to thrive in. Somewhere along the way, rest became synonymous with laziness. Stillness was mistaken for weakness. But what if rest is the most radical, most powerful creative act you can choose? And so in doing that, I created these kind of wellness practices that you can incorporate in your daily life or in your creative practices. So I said rest as a radical act. So rest is not just about naps or sleep. Rest is a spiritual, emotional, and political decision. When a Black woman decides to rest, she interrupts the cycle of exploitation. She tells the world, I am not a machine. I am a living, breathing, sacred being. Rest is the soil your creativity grows from. Without it, your writing becomes performative, strained, and even absent. But when you are rested, you can listen deeply to your intuition, your ancestors, your characters. You create with purpose, not pressure. So here are some practices that I've been incorporating in my own life right now. And what you can do is use rest as a sacred thing, and I call it schedule the sacred pause. So take time out, even if it's just one day every week, that is non-negotiable. No emails, no errands, just stillness. I usually find that to be my Sunday practice, but I feel that it really helps you to reconnect with yourself and also helps you to reset. Another thing you should do, I feel, is sleep like it matters. So aim to get quality sleep and track how your creative energy shifts when you prioritize rest. Another practice you can do is rest as a writing practice. So I think this can go for any task you have. Like take 20 minutes of silence before you do anything. So before you write, before even if it's a work report, whatever, just take 20 minutes to relax yourself, calm down, sip some tea before you go into the task. Again, it's to help regulate your nervous system. And another way that you can use rest to support your writing, if you're a writer, is to start scheduling breaks while you're writing. And use the breaks, put it in your calendar. Like take times out where you say, I'm going to write for 3 hours and then I'm going to take a nap for 20 minutes. It could be a cat nap. I'm going to write for a few hours, and then I'm going to go for a walk, even if it's just 15 minutes or 10 minutes. And just schedule these breaks without your day to slow down your pace. That also will help calm down your nervous system, stay focused, and also, believe it or not, you'll be more productive than if you just keep grinding it out. Another thing I feel is a really good practice is to not push yourself so much. So actually, if you're going to work, especially if you're a creative writer, maybe you want to write for 4 days and then take 3 days off. Don't grind yourself where you feel like you have to work every day and treat it like a 9 to 5. Because again, with your creativity, it's a spiritual practice, and you should treat it like that. You shouldn't treat it like it's a grind or a hustle. So another thing is you can do is create rest hours. So again, it doesn't have to be every day, even if it's just once a week, and you take a time out where you just rest, where you just take a nap, or you listen to music, or you eat a good meal, get a little indulgent snack, like something that takes you out of what you're doing and makes you center more back into you. So another thing I want to say is also create rest rituals. So something I used to do even when I was a teenager, before I even became a professional writer, was I would take baths, long baths, and put Sade on and just kind of get myself centered. And that's something else you can do to, it's kind of a mindful practice of just relaxing, tuning out the world, and getting back into yourself. Because what you do in these practices, it'll stop you from burnout, and it will help you tap into that spiritual side of yourself, is where creativity lies. Because again, we spend too much of our time, especially as Black women, feeling that we have to be productive all the time, feeling like we have to put the world in front of ourselves. But if you take care of yourself, or take at least 5 to 10 minutes a day, if you want to start there, thinking about taking care of yourself and making that a practice, believe me when I say it will make your life better and your work better. And so that's a part of my practice. And then I have affirmations and other things that I've written as well within my wellness guide. But again, it's treating rest as a radical act, not treating it as a luxury, but treating it as a necessity, and giving that to yourself, because it's incredibly important, especially in the times we are in right now. It's incredibly important to put yourself first and to learn that rest is fundamental.
Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you so very much. You said something very, very interesting. Rest is radical. And we as diaspora women, we don't see rest as radical. We see radical as radical. And I think that is one of the major reasons why last year, the whole aspect of having a day of rest for Black women was so critical, and that it evolved around the world. It was a shot that diaspora women globally embraced. There are major organizations now in Africa that is embracing that aspect. Canada is another place where diaspora women are feeling that to a high level and taking it elsewhere. So thank you so very much. Now, if we want to get any of your information, how can we reach out to you?
Well, I'm on social media. Is anything is Dana Verde. So if just Google me, my social media, my LinkedIn and my Instagram will come up. And also, what I want to do is anybody who's interested in this wellness guide and want to use some of these practices, I want you to put a link. And once they can pre-order now, and then once it's available, you can get a free copy of it and use it in your daily life. But I feel it's important because one of the quotes I use in the wellness guide is that even warriors have to put down their armor, right? And as Black women, we are fierce. And especially here in the US, people rely on that. They rely on our warrior energy. And we need to learn how to rest and replenish ourselves. And I think it's really important.
Thank you very much, dear. And we hope to see you next year at the Professional Women's International in Barbados. So we'll keep you posted on that. And thank you so much for your support with WOCPSEN. You've been very instrumental in being one of our global community partners. Thank you so much.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next guest speaker we're really excited about is Shirley Brathwaite. Now, For 5 years, she managed the City Link Up Unsigned. That was a multi-generational showcase. And since 2012, events that occurred that she was attending the A&R representatives for the X Factor and The Voice. Now she's had these type of people come to support and endorse some of the work she's doing in reference to finding artistry. Now in 2015, she created Britain's Got Reggae. It's a UK reggae competition. It was established to continue the recognition of reggae as an international cultural asset. Britain Got Reggae has attracted notable interest with its contents marketing reaching over 200,000. She has since created another platform where she realized she needed rest. Charlie, the floor is yours, dear. Unmic.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Good.
Thank you.
Right, thanks for the introduction. I didn't understand the assignment about the rest part, but I do rest a lot. I realised a few weeks ago I caught shingles, and that was due to not resting. Not that I realised that I wasn't resting, because everything I do, I absolutely love. So it doesn't feel like work. So how do you know, when you just love everything you do, you just keep going. But I feel I rest a lot as well in between. The last thing that she was talking about is I sort of meditate, and I sort of run sound baths. So I encourage people as well to speak about their sexual trauma. That is my lived experience. So on a monthly basis, I run like women's circles, sister circles, for women that want to speak about their sexual trauma. And then I give them a 20-minute sound bath afterwards to sort of ground them, because I know what it's like when you share and then you have to go back home on the bus, in the car, whatever. It can be upsetting. So I know about the importance of grounding them, giving them that rest before they leave and go on their way after they've shared about their traumas. In addition, I've got a book. The title is Don't Go Too Grey With It. It's a poem book. It's finished. I just need to do the illustrations and get the images done. It's been edited, it's been formatted. It's been there for a while, sitting down. So over this weekend, I'm hoping to get the images sort of done so I can have that for release. The poem book is real life situations, my real life. Some of them looks far-fetched. They're all absolutely real situations that I went through. And basically, I want to share and speak about sexual trauma in a bold way, so I can encourage other people to speak about their traumas, because I believe that, us not speaking about it are enabling them to continue doing what they're doing in the background. They're banking on us not speaking, so they just continue. Last year, 2024, I think it was October, I called out one of my abusers, and I'd done it in a way where I thought about for years how I was going to do it. At first, I could not speak about my traumas. Then it was through floods of tears. And then as you get older, you need to deal with it better. And now today, I'm pleased to say I can stand up and speak about it without the tears and speak about it boldly. So last year, I called out my childhood abuser. I was 9 years old. It was my mum's partner. I called his name, done a video, put it on my social media. I then had an interview on a program on YouTube, a 2-hour live interview on YouTube, where I went into detail about the trauma and the things he used to do. And through talking and through writing, I wanted people to understand the healing that comes through when you talk about your traumas. It's really important that we speak about it and don't take it to our graves. It actually lessens our lives. When we don't speak about these sort of things, it lessens our life. There's been research about it. I've done a few online courses where I've got presentations put together where, I'm showing my video where I spoke. I'm showing people the comments to make them see that it's not, people are on our side. People ain't against us. I barely had negative comments. I've had so many men reach out to me, black men reach out to me about their traumas, and you would never thought about it. Like there are 60 odd, and sometimes, most of the time, I'm the first person or only person that they've told. So my hope is, my dream is to get this subject out in the open, and I want to do this by setting the example. I've got another person I need to call out, and I'm going to do it in the early of 2026. This gentleman's a bit more dangerous, but it's something I just have to do. I'm not fearful as I was of him before. I grew up fearful of this man. I was 16 and then 17. He raped me twice. He was a really bad man in the area. But like I said, I need to do it in the way I'm doing it. I need to call him out, and I will do that. I've found a Facebook page which he blocked me from. Someone was telling me, oh, this is his name on Facebook. I couldn't find him. Then I got a friend that had visited me, look for this name, and they found him. So he's obviously blocked me. He can see that I'm calling people out. So I guess he knows that his time's coming soon. I don't care how bad he is and whatever. I just need to speak my truth, and I want to encourage. And I know there's lots of other women that is actually done the same thing too. A couple of them have died, but I know of about 5 women that is raped as well. But will they speak? Will they come forward? So I feel by me speaking and showing no fear will encourage them to, and maybe coming together, we could probably get, a conviction. We're all going through the same thing, but we're just doing it in our separate little bubbles when we really need to come together and speak about, and speak and share, and know that like every other person is going through it. It's not an isolated case. The figures are just, they put our figures down like say 1 in 3. That was 2013. So you can imagine now what the figures are, and the figures they put out, they'll never know the figures because everyone's not going to speak. So there's different ways of we need to take back our power. We need to start speaking about this subject because there's younger people that are probably looking for somebody or organisation or somewhere where they can go to share, to say, hey, yes, this is happening to me. Having the subject out in the open will open up the doors to them sort of things happening. Yes. Is there more you want me to talk about, Loretta?
That it's extremely wonderful that you're speaking about this subject matter because it is the Lena Baker Domestic Violence and Women's Health. And one of the aspects is we have a tendency of holding back on our truth. And part of that lack of truth is acknowledging the pain that we've endured. And part of that pain of endurance is that violence that permeates us by those people who will use and manipulate us for their own gain, that will subjugate us to gain their own power. And I honor and I recommend and I commend you for what you're doing. And I recommend that you do move forward. And I support you in that capacity because I myself have gone through childhood traumas of sexual abuse. And I lost my daughter to domestic violence. So I understand where that takes you in multiple places that you may not want to. And thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to the book. We invite you because you do the sound bath. Now tell us about the sound bath. How did you evolve that?
Well, for a long time, I wanted to speak about sexual abuse. I wanted to get women together. I want to collaborate on books where we do a chapter each and talk about our traumas. But I think when you're helping people with their traumas, you need to offer some sort of healing. So for the last year and a half, I've had my sound bowls, some crystal singing bowls. I got some, and I just played in my home. And while I was in Leicester over the summer holidays, my sister does African yoga. So for the last 15 minutes, I played my bowls, and the experiences have just sort of, boosted my experience. Everyone loves it. I've got a gift, something new that I've learnt, and I've got a gift. I was funded in my local area in London from Islington Given, just a small fund, but it allowed me to do 5 sessions, which I'm 3 in. Got another 2 sessions to people in the area. And I'm also doing some childhood trauma courses and trauma practitioner level 1 to 3, because I want to really learn about trauma and start healing people through that. I know I've got a gift for healing. My great-great-grandmother was a healer, and I didn't know that till last year. And my aunt taught, I said, was she? I said, wonder where I got it from, because I've always been playing with herbs from very young, from really young. I've been, my soursop leaves, I've always looked for an alternative. I don't trust the doctor. I'll get the diagnosis, but I will look for the herb that will help me. So I'm sort of always into that sort of thing, healing self, and don't trust what they give us.
Medicine. So it's really interesting because that's even a space of rest when you can feel self-assured within yourself and your ancestry relationship to healing, that you can rest upon that and move forward. So Charlie, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we want to open up the floor because we have some sisters, and we call the sisters. We call the enlightened, the leaders, the sisters of voice. And I know I see 3 people on here that have voices. I need you to open up the mic and say something to us. Denise, it's so good to see you. Put your mic on. I'd love to see and talk to you. Shirley, you going next. And Savona, you know I love you, girl. So Denise, talk to us. Tell us about your resting place. Tell us what you're doing for rest, my sister. You've got some words of wisdom.
Well, I was doing the opposite, rushing from one thing to the next. I'm going to try to go on camera. I don't think I'm camera ready. I'm not in good lighting.
You're fine. You fine, my baby. You're good.
So I came in the dance studio for a class. I was listening to you as I walk, and it's empty. So I either have the wrong day or I'm too early. So what was the question? I just opened the doors. I was listening.
What is your rest? What do you project as your resting place?
Wow. Well, I have friends tell me I don't rest enough. One of the things I think I do is travel. As you probably don't know it, I pretty much live in Panama part of the year. So it's kind of my resting place. I started that about 6 years ago. I just woke up one day and said, America was going to have problems. And I came to America for a better life. I could live somewhere else for a retirement life. And I made the move. So when I'm here, I just love it. And, there's just the freedom. I love the sun. I can't take any cold weather. So my resting place is always somewhere warm. And the place is Panama. And that's probably the gist of it, really. I probably need to slow down a little bit more. I was listening to your daughter earlier on, so I probably pay attention to some of the things people have been saying so far. And
Wonderful.
People came into the class, and it's going to get noisy. So
okay. I think I'm all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for responding. But always remember, you can always find this on our YouTube page, WOCPSEN, so you can always go back and revisit. Have fun and enjoy.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good to see you too.
Good to see you. Absolutely. All righty. Shirley, I have not seen or heard from you in ages. Please talk to me. How are you, sis?
I was just putting something in the chat. Thank you for inviting me, and this has been helpful. I'm not on camera because it's Saturday morning, and I'm kind of resting too a little bit.
All right.
But remember when we were growing up on Saturday mornings, what we would do. So I'm kind of taking the time to do that while I listen. And I just want to say that everything that all the speakers have said has been a great reminder of how important rest is. Because if we don't rest, then we can't help others. We can't help ourselves and we can't help others. So some days I just remove myself from my work and my volunteer activities and just rest. And it helps so much to just rejuvenate and get that extra energy. We miss you at Big Bethel. You have to come back and visit.
No, I will come. I'm coming to visit. I sure am.
Okay. All right. Thanks for inviting me. This has been helpful.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Zenobia, that is my girl. She's my ride or die in Cincinnati.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me on here. I appreciate you so much. You know this. for the what, going on 11 years now.
Yes.
It is an honor to be the walk's coming up November 1st, domestic violence solidarity walk. And it's the participants has been awesome. I met so many people, and I did enjoy the talks from everyone speaking on the rest. But you know what? I hear you, Cincinnati. WAIF 88.3 is kind of hard because I'm really looking into what's going on in our community. But yes, rest is very important. But I do, I'll thank you so much for what you bestowed on me to represent Cincinnati for the Women of Concerned Professionals. I appreciate you so much because I have learned a lot, Lord. And also affiliated with, me coming up with domestic violence, the mom with the black eye and all that stuff. I dealt with that, but didn't realize exactly what. And I have to say, as I grew up, it's like, that's never going to happen to me. No, I'd be like, boy, somebody touch me, boy, it's gonna be, and it just would do that to me mind wise as a kid, and then you had to go through relationships and you had to remember you can't blame others for your past or don't think they're like this or that. But I have met a lot of people that have told me stories at my walk that I said, what? That happened to you? What? College, being in college, things happening, high school, domestic violence is happening. And it's all because of whatever's happening at home. They grow into these relationships or they think this is the way it's supposed to be. And then to actually be able to come to things and actually hear, oh, that's not right. You shouldn't be going through that. So, again, I appreciate all the information that you have given me. You have enlightened me. I praise God for you and the work that you do. And no, I wasn't able to be in Spain, but let me tell you, if I could have been, trust me, I would have been there. But I appreciate you so much and
Well, you're so
continue
very
blessings to
welcome.
everyone that's on here.
Absolutely. We're going to mail you your certificate of appreciation.
Oh,
And
thank you.
so 2026, Professional Women's International will be in Barbados. So we'll keep you posted.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have one more guest. I'm not sure what happened, Patricia Collins, but we will definitely have a recording with her. We will post it on our YouTube page, WOCPSCN. Please feel free to create a walk. Walks aren't hard if it's just you at 10 a.m. your time. Walk. That's where the solidarity comes with because everyone at their 10 a.m. is walking. So our walks start in India, which they are 18 hours ahead, and we walk all the way through. And so we're really excited that the work is being done. The visual presence, our visual presence is making differences, and that's the important thing. So we can eradicate domestic violence and sexual based violence from our world completely. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. Please feel free to find out exactly what we're doing at WOCPSCN. We look forward to speaking with you. And remember, next year it's going to get even deeper. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be blessed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Continue blessings, everyone.